Okay, for the second lesson under module number 2, I will have the models of communication. While most human beings are born with the physical abilities to speak, to hear, to see, and so on, people must learn to communicate through codes, symbols, systems of language. So it means that um, we have the ability to speak, to hear, and to see, but we should learn how, okay, and how to use the system of language. It is not automatically acquired by a baby. Okay, so there is still a process here. So, in connection with this, there is a fact that a baby who is immersed in using gadgets to watch videos has a possibility of developing autism like symptoms, delays in speech and learning disabilities. So this is really something serious. Okay, so please, reminders for those who have kids at home less than 3 years old. Do not let your children, your siblings, to be addicted to gadgets. Okay, so under the models of communication, we have three main models divided into portions. So the first one is linear. Okay, from the word linear, we can see the word line, because under linear communication, you only have a one direction line. So linear models explain one directional communication process. Okay? So under this, we have the oldest model of communication, the Aristotle's model of communication. So it is dated 300 BC. And here, for Aristotle, he identified three elements that will improve communication. So the first one is the ethos, or the credibility of the speaker, the pathos, or the connection of the speaker to the audience, and the logos, or the argument. Okay, say for example, a person with credibility will be heard, and there is a connection between him and the audience because of the credibility, okay, and how sensible or sensical his argument is. So Aristotle's model does not pay attention to the role of feedback in communication, so there's no feedback. This is commonly used in public speaking, okay? So the concept of feedback is not here. It is one way from speaker to the audience. So there is no concept of communication failure like noise and barriers. So the speaker gives a speech, okay, to the audience, and whatever the effect of the speech to the audience will not be heard. There's no feedback, okay? So whether it's positive or negative, it will not be heard. One example is when President Duterte was elected years ago. He has a very good credibility that time. So I'm not saying that he is not credible now, okay? But that time, the credibility is very visible. So he gave his speech and he said in 6 months time, susugpuin ko ang droga. So that's his words. Now, and the occasion is, of course, the first speech of the president-elect. So the audience could be from the television, media, politicians, many more, nationwide and worldwide audience. And then the effect could be the positive. A lot of people, a lot of Filipinos cling to the promise. So I'm not saying that the promise isn't true. Promise is made to be broken. Okay, so that is an example. Another, again, this model can only be used in public speaking. One way direction. The next is under linear is Laswell. So tries to understand a communication event by asking 5 questions. It looks at who created the message, what they said, the channel they said it, example TV, radio, blog, who they said it, and what effect it had on the receiver. So this model is effective as it provides a very simple and practical way of critiquing a message. Okay, let's see. So here it is. It is almost the same as Aristotle, but very different in terms of the one here, the channel. Okay, so we have who, the speaker, what, referring to the context or the message of the speaker, and whom is the audience, and the effect of the message of the speaker. Now, the channel can be using Google Meet, using text, chat, vlogs, television, radio, and many more. So again, there's no feedback. The next one is the Shannon and Weaver. It is first to highlight the role of the noise in communication, which can disrupt or alter a message between the sender and the receiver. Guys, this is actually the mother of all models of communication. Okay, so here it is. In this model, we have the sender or the source of information, encoder, the channel, decoder, and receiver. So we already know that encoder is the transmitter or how a message was decoded, and the channel is the medium or how the process of sending. Okay, it can be on a telephone call, internet, and so on. And then the decoder is how it was understood or received by the destination or the receiver. Now here comes the noise. Say for example, you are having a Google Meet, and then suddenly your teacher disappeared. It's one. It made the Google Meet the message of the teacher disrupted because of the disconnection. Another one is when you are talking to someone and you passed by a construction site or someone is drilling, it will give you difficulty in understanding the other one at the end, and at the same you will not be understood by the person you are talking to. So of course there is a sense or concept of feedback. So whether or not the receiver understood the message, he or she will have a feedback. Okay? Next, the Berlos SMCR model of communication explains with 4 steps the source, the message, channel, and receiver. It explains the unique aspect of Berlos model is it gives a detailed account of the key elements in each step that will affect how well the message is communicated. So under it, we have the source. Elements of the source include communication skills of the sender, their attitude, and their culture. And of course, the message. Well, let's see. In this model, we have source, medium, channel, and receiver. So, under source, we have communication skills. Say, for example, the person has regional accent. The medium, the contents, the elements, the treatment and structure, and even the code used by the source. The channel, is it hearing, listening, or seeing, like journal or poster? And of course, same communication attitude, knowledge, social system, and culture of the receiver. So, for example, this source, the speaker, has a regional accent. Of course, if this speaker has no regional accent, there might be a problem when it comes to how this speaker understood this, rather, this receiver understood the speaker.